Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Canadian Crypt, and today I'm going to be going over part 2 of my horror DVD collection. But before I get into it, I just want to announce that I'm going to be going back to a Monday and Friday post schedule. The reason for that is I'm still figuring out my workflow, and I want to be able to put out the best quality content I can for you guys. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe and click the little bell to keep up to date with new horror content every Monday and Friday from here on out. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, and thank you for sticking with me. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Alright, starting off we have The Haunting in Connecticut. Now, this was a movie that received a lot of hype when it was first released, but for some reason now, just no one seems to talk about it, which I think is pretty weird because I enjoy this movie quite a bit. Up next, we have the first feature film from Rob Zombie, and that is House of a Thousand Corpses. Alright, up next we have House of Wax. Now, this isn't one of my favorites, but it's okay for a watch once in a while. Continuing on, we have The Hitcher. Continuing on, we have The Hills Have Eyes 2. Alright, up next we have the Clive Barker classic, Hellraiser, featuring the legendary Doug Bradley as Pinhead. Continuing on, we have a movie that actually freaked me out when I saw it in theaters, and that is Insidious. Up next we have a collection of 3 films that people love to hate, and that is the Leprechaun series. Alright, up next we have the remake for My Bloody Valentine. Now, I prefer the original, but unfortunately I don't have a copy of it right now. Alright, this one's for the Sid Haig fans, and that is Night of the Living Dead 3D. Continuing on, we have A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, followed by A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Alright, up next we have Orphan, The Omen Remake. Alright, up next we have a really cool release, and that is the Universal Legacy series of Psycho. Alright, up next we have The Purge. The Purge Anarchy. We have the Puppet Master Collection. Alright, up next we have a movie that I hold near and dear to my heart, mostly for the fact that I believe this is the first horror movie that I had ever watched, and that is Pet Sematary. Resident Evil Afterlife. Up next we have The Ring, followed by The Ring 2, which I actually picked up from Roger's video back when they went out of business. Alright, up next we have the classic Salem's Lot, which I ended up picking up at my local horror store. Up next we have the original Saw film, which is cool because it comes in this clear box. Moving on to Saw 2. Up next we have Saw 3 in another clear case collector's edition. Up next we have potentially the weakest of the Scream films, and that is Scream 3. Moving on to Scream 4. We have See No Evil featuring the wrestler Kane. Up next I have a rare cool DVD that was given to me, and that is Seitan, the Turkish Exorcist. If you can find it, it's really fun and definitely worth watching. Alright, we're getting closer to the end of my collection, and we're continuing on with Shaun of the Dead, one of the greatest zombie horror comedies of all time. Moving on to The Shining. Alright, up next we have a 2-movie collection called Night of Horrors Volume 1, which features Sleepaway Camp and The House by the Cemetery. We have Jack Hill's Switchblade Sisters. Up next we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, followed by one of my favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre installments, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, When a Stranger Calls. Up next we have the very underrated Wolf Creek. And to end my DVD collection off, we have Wrong Turn. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit it with a like, and if you aren't already, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Canadian Crypt, where I let you guys decide on the videos I'm gonna make next. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay scary.